Residents of Tilly's farm in Muldersdrift were allegedly kicked out of their homes. Last year in July, the homes were, according to the residents, unlawfully demolished to clear the land for County Garden Estate. Human rights lawyers intervened and the developers were taken to court. Zola Sholwana has detail of that story. So what's the latest with this? Because the last time you brought us this story, Zola, you spoke to the developers, who said, well, everything was above board, but the residents there disagree.
Yes, you're right, Dudu. When we spoke to the developers, the last time they had a different story, and now we are joined by the human rights lawyer, Mr. David, who's actually been with this case from the beginning, and with the people who are right behind me, who are believed to be the rightful people to be occupying the land where the development is currently happening. Now, allow me to introduce Mr. David. Sir, thank you very much for your time. If you could briefly tell us about the legal aspect of this case, because when we spoke to the developer, they said everything was done accordingly, and they even spoke to Mogale City, which this area is under. What's your stance?
Well, I'm afraid the story is actually very different from what Mr. Bezuidenhout has said. The people here, 15 families, had rights to stay on this land as previous workers for previous landowners. On the 5th of July last year, 2022, their houses were demolished. Now, we all know that you cannot demolish someone's house without a court order. There was no court order, despite lawyers for human rights having warned Mr. Bezuidenhout not to proceed. He proceeded anyway and demolished their homes and therefore made them homeless. We went to the Land Claims Court on an urgent basis and got an agreement with Mr. Bezuidenhout that first they would be given temporary accommodation for 3 months, and within 3 months their houses would be rebuilt on this site here to allow the development to continue. Mr. Bezuidenhout has not honoured that agreement, despite it being made an order of court. Mr. Bezuidenhout has blamed various people, Mogale City, ourselves, and all of those accusations made on oath have now been withdrawn. What he says is that they do not have money to build these houses as they are lawfully required. We can see they have said in their legal papers that the project is at a standstill. Look behind me. This is Sunday. They are building luxury homes for people and ignoring our clients who have been living in these squalid conditions for over a year despite the court order. We have therefore approached back to the Land Claims Court for contempt of court. We are saying Mr. Bezuidenhout is in contempt of the court order of a year ago. And we are asking the court to apply an appropriate sanction should the court find Mr. Bezuidenhout guilty of contempt of court, which in our view he clearly is. We are asking for a suspended sentence, that Mr. Bezuidenhout will be told that if he does not honour his agreement, which he clearly has the resources to do, within 3 months he will go to jail. And we believe that is an appropriate sanction that we ask the judge for.
Now, when we spoke to the developer, including the other people that were relocated to Plot 80 that we spoke about off air, some of the people claimed that they were notified about the land being bought. If you could possibly touch on that.
I can touch on that. There were different people on this land. Our clients had rights to remain on this land under the Esther Act. Other people had joined. They did not have those rights. They voluntarily relocated. We have no problem with that. We are here to defend the rights of these people, these citizens, who this developer who comes from Holland and decides to make money building luxury houses is denying. Those people that want to relocate is fine. These people have the right not to relocate, these 15 families, and they have been denied that right in a most cruel, inhumane way.
All right, let me bring in Margaret. Mama, thank you very much for your time. You have been there in the beginning. Yes. Your house was also demolished at some point. Now, Haribua le batho bale, they are saying that you knew about this whole thing. The papers were there, and some of the people here agreed that they will be given a sum of money to replace the houses there. If you can just respond to that.
Really, I can't respond about Mr. Bezuidenhout just because natla ka rona o dile le ba buti ba bangwe as his friend ke man king le machete. They said that we must go to police station and make some affidavit When we make some affidavit, the following day, he come and demolish our houses. Okay. And according to Esther law, really, and according to the law of this country, there is no one who's above the law who can come and demolish your houses without any court order. And he just come and demolish your houses without notification. He just say, go to police station, make affidavit. The following day, he just come with a bulldozer and demolish your houses. Mm-hmm. And really, it was sad. And we were held by Mr. David from the Lawyers of Human Rights. If it was not Mr. David, really it was sad, just because we stay outside for 3 months, no shelter, nothing, no food. It was shameful.
So ha re bua le batho ba bang ba dulang ko ploteng e le bane ba dula le lona mo ba re you were the one who was in between talking to the developer ka taba e ya gore, and apparently there's also some allegations that ne gona le tšhelete involved. There's a letter o ikwetseng ka letsogo la hao. What was the letter about?
The letter ke yona ya gore re tsamaye re lo etsa di affidavit go police station sa gore re batla go tsamaya. If re batla go tsamaya re etse di affidavit from police station, but up to so far Mr. Bezuidenhout and his friend McKing and Machete, they never came back to us. They just came with bulldozer to demolish our houses. And the waking morning thing, it was just nearly lifestyle ya ha ya gore maybe o retsa di tlaela. Go to police station. It's unpeso. The following day you come with the bulldozer, you demolish someone's house without a court order, without telling you that you must go. You just come with the bulldozer and start demolishing. Is this fair?
Okay, so gona le ba bang ne ba re gotlile batho ba masepala ba leblela gore this land has been bought. When are you aware of that? Gore the land was bought and gape you were given some time, close to 2 years. These are allegations. Gore lona tshwantse le tswe mole because e rekile into ploto ele.
Na ke ya bona maphepha gore pleke e rekilwe. If pleke there is something irregular, there must be evidence. Or one side pampiri tsa gore this place has been bought as the law of Esther. Rentse mo sebaka. If irregular, they must see to it that ba re replace a bila re atswa. If re nna mo ntong ja ditena ne tshwantse re ke dintso tse proper. Re ska boela gape go mekhukhung. Dintso tsa rena ne le ditena. Ene re tlile mo plaseng with the permission of the plot owner. Re bereka. We were working here. Are atla ka go fihla ra itlhomela mekhukhu. Re tlile re bereka ene re nna mo ntsong tsa stena. Bene nka se re ke nna mo ntsong ya stena ka ilo nna go mokhukhung. Sa tlhoka metsi ka tlhoka motlakase.
Margaret is quite correct. There's no dispute that the land was bought. That's irrelevant to their rights in the first place to remain here. But secondly, it doesn't give anybody the right to demolish someone's house without a court order. And that's what Mr. Bezuidenhout has done. It's completely unacceptable. It's unlawful. And the courts must deal with it.
So what you're hoping to achieve right now is for the developer to fulfill their promise, which is building them houses that are equivalent to what they destroyed. Is that what you're saying?
Precisely. Mr. Bezuidenhout agreed to that in an agreement which was made an order of court. What we want for these people is for their rights to be enforced. These are South African citizens who have rights. Mr. Bezuidenhout has no right to take those rights away from them, which he is evidently, clearly doing.
Mm-hmm. So when you've been in talks with the developer, what are they saying with regards to building these people? Like you have mentioned that they promised to build them houses. These are the temporary shelters that were supposed to be here for about three months. And after that, then proper houses were supposed to be built. What are they saying now?
Well, he's been making promises not only to me but to the court. He's constantly made promises, constantly changing, telling us that the beginning of building houses is about to start. This was back in September of last year. So he says pegging has started. And look around you, it hasn't. So honestly, it's a tough word to use, but we're dealing with someone who says one thing one day and another. In plain language, we're talking about someone who lies and lies under oath.
Thank you very much, David, for your time. Now, Dudu, something that we are getting here is that these residents were allegedly promised houses, temporary shelter, these shacks that you see behind me. They were meant to live here for 3 months, and then the developer had promised to build them houses that are equivalent to the houses that were demolished, because it is reported that the land that they occupied was bought. And the human rights lawyer is actually saying that what they demand is for the developer, which is Max Living, to come up with a solution, or rather fulfill their promise of building these people that you see behind me, the houses that are equivalent to the houses that were demolished in the plot.
Sholwana, thank you.